Inhabitants, a documentary by Anna Palmer and Costa Boutsikaris, shows how Native Americans are restoring their ancient relationship with the land to deal with global warming. One of them is traditional Hopi farmer Michael Koturwa Johnson, who is growing seeds resilient to drought in northern Arizona's arid climate.
These are called Atiko, they're brown lima beans.
Koturwa Johnson has earned a PhD in sustainable agriculture.
There's so much moisture in the ground. No irrigation, folks.
Science is just starting to catch up to realizing that there can be melding in the indigenous way of doing science and the Western way of doing science, but there is still a really long way to go.
The Blackfeet tribe of northwest Montana is reintroducing the buffalo into its ancestral lands, making healthy meat locally available and creating jobs for tribal members.
Native people had a relationship with wild animals, and when Europeans came with highly domesticated animals, they really changed the landscape to make it fit what the Europeans wanted it to be.
This cattle colonialism, says Costa Boutsikaris, industrialized meat production and contributed to greenhouse gas emissions.
The cattle are not prepared for any climate change resilience. They can't handle drought, they can't handle heat, they can't handle winter.
In North Wisconsin, the Menominee tribe depends on lumber.
We don't have perfect knowledge, we don't have perfect science, but we've always been adaptive. I think Menominee's history has been adaptive to resource management.
Marshall Pecora says Menominees harvest their timber sustainably, keeping forest and wildlife intact. He says colonial America disrupted Native American forest management by taking away a large chunk of Menominee forests and destroying it through unfettered logging. In Northern California, the Carrock tribe is reintroducing ancient Native American fire management practices to control unwanted vegetation and dried underbrush and to regenerate aging wildlife habitat.
Air attack, Division November, command.
In her documentary, Bring Your Own Brigade, Lucy Walker also addresses the importance of the Native American practice of fighting fire with fire and links destructive fires in California to industrial logging and harmful reforestation methods.
Natural forests are less fire prone than you might think, and certainly less fire prone than the heavily logged areas.
And you can see the little planted trees in the background that were then killed by the campfire. There's no tall trees, there's no live trees. So this is a scene of total devastation. This is a wasteland.
Both films warn people must adapt to climate change by learning the time-tested practices of North America's original inhabitants. Penelope Pulu, VOA News, Washington.